this ain't the Baby Alive doll that I wanted. This is ugly. I don't want this thing. My mom was like, why? I was like, because I want the one on TV, which was white. And I didn't understand why I thought the black doll was ugly. It was, I don't even think it was inherently placed in me. It was what I seen on TV. It was what I exposed to. We were just not, the things that are around us every day remind us of who we are. And then as I got into school, then I realized that I'm black and that black is inferior to white. So when you don't equip, and we're not, I'm not saying that we are, I'm saying this is what was taught to me in school. And so you got to equip your children with the truth of who they are so that when they go out in the world and they learn that black people are inferior, and then they start to look in the mirror and then people start to see that they're actually black and tell them that they're black and remind them that they black, that they won't think that the black part is bad. So it's very important that we do not ignore, or we try to ignore the idea of race. That's this is the world is going to remind us every single day.
Well, it's really interesting, Constance, because there is a whole study that was done with dolls. I don't
Oh
know. I
yeah,
don't know. But
that
yeah,
dog,
that where
that dog was bad. That happened to me. Really, I thought she was ugly because she
and
was
that's
brown.
something
Mhm.
because we've been conditioned that way,
We've been
definitely
conditioned.
that way. I think, and that's by design. It's by design.
Mhm.
So, Marlo, I want to ask you a question. So, how do you think that? What do you feel about if we teach children to value their identity while embracing the others? So, how can we do that? How can we teach our children to value their identity while embracing others? Do you think it's that hard for kids?
Actually, it's not. I've shared before. My dad was in the military, so we lived all over the world. We lived in Germany. We lived in different parts of the United States. And when we were in Germany, my parents were very intentional about making sure that our extended family in Germany looked exactly like our extended family in New Orleans, right? So there was no change. The movies that we watch, Black people were centered in our home. Obviously, we watched Silver Spoons and all the other shit that white people were at the center of. But my parents were very intentional about, we are Black. This is who we are. This is our family, right? Be proud of it. As you go out into the world, be proud of who you are. And it made me stronger. It made me better. It made me lean into these SAT words that Candace likes so much, because I saw particularly young white boys as my competition intellectually. So I was always pushing, right? If Brad name on the board because he read these many books, I'm about to be above his name because I read more books than him. And that's just the way that my family operated. So I think that you can have your children in predominantly white spaces and have them still understand who they are in the world and what some people in the world, how they may perceive them. But I think if you don't, right, if you don't buffer your children with Blackness, if you don't have your Black friends coming around, if all you do is adopt Maximilian's rich friend group, then it's going to be a little bit harder for you to instill that what is naturally inside of them, right? It's going to be harder for you to instill that in them. And they're not going to see likeness between themselves and other Black people. And that's just a disservice to them, because if you really want them to know both sides, then you need to be intentional as a parent about making sure that both sides are ever present so that they don't forget one or the other.